Everybody knows that Europe produces the best footballers. But what if I told you there is a pathway in the US that nobody is talking about? One where you live like a pro, train with the goal of becoming a pro, and still get a degree even if you don't go pro. Introducing college soccer. Put really simply, you play soccer and get a degree. That is what I did, and I got a degree while literally living like a professional footballer. There are 1,298 men's soccer programs in the country. Each school is distributed by governing bodies, the NCAA, NAIA, and NJCAA. Each governing body has different rules, not for the sport itself, but for how it is run behind the scenes. Schools have teams compete in conferences for conference titles. The best teams in each conference then compete against teams in other conferences for the holy grail of college soccer, national championships, where you will experience something like this.
Who would have thought that little old Clemson would make its way back to the biggest stage? Well, maybe we did. This community that you've inspired so many times over the years, eager to watch you take that final step.
You know, the 21 team I love, always will, and they have their place in history, but you know, we talk about being remembered or being remembered forever.
At times it seemed unlikely that we'd make it here, but our belief in you never wavered.
Brandon Parrish gives it a ride. Oh, they did it again! This one though carries much more weight.
And with that fourth star just within reach, you left no doubt.
Their superstar, their talisman, their senior. He's got one college cup. That goal may give him a second.
So thank you for a night we'll never forget, and a team we'll remember forever.
And you get to do all of that while studying and getting a degree. People who play college soccer are called student athletes. So, why should you play college soccer? The better question is honestly, why wouldn't you? Think of college soccer like getting a second audition when most actors only get one chance. Most people think they'll miss their shot at going pro. But in reality, if you aren't in a pro academy by the age of 17, your options are limited anyway. In every country except the US, 18 is considered old. College soccer extends your timeline by another 4 years, giving you the development and exposure needed to reach that next level. And that is thanks to world-class facilities and the games being broadcasted on ESPN. People say that the level isn't good enough, but how can that be true when some of the top schools literally play Premier League academies in their preseason and hold their own? I've heard people say, I don't know anybody that made it from playing college soccer. So here are a handful of examples. I've also heard that it's too expensive, and I completely understand this one because I felt the exact same way coming from a middle-class family. And that is where scholarships come in. Full transparency, I paid just under $20,000 across the 4 years in school and graduated with an international business and a psychology degree. Not only did I get them degrees, but I also experienced something that changed my entire life. The final concern most people have is that they'll be far away from home. My answer to that? Yeah, you will be far away from home. And that is probably the toughest part by far. I've been in the US 7 years. I arrived as an 18-year-old boy, and I sit making this video as a 25-year-old man, and I still miss my family. It doesn't get any easier. You just get better at dealing with it. And the truth is, if you spend your life avoiding difficult moments, you're not going to achieve anything significant. Do you really think Ronaldo would be where he is if he didn't move away from home at such a young age? I'd argue no. And if the worst case scenario is that you play soccer in the best country in the world with amazing facilities, give yourself an increased chance of going pro while earning a degree as a backup plan, it doesn't sound too bad, does it? Because realistically speaking, what are your other options? I mean, you could stay in your own country, go to university and get a job, and maybe play football on the side and hope to climb through the ranks. But that path just isn't what it used to be. In England, everything below the professional leagues is called non-league, and it is where thousands of young players chase that dream of going pro. It was once a place where young, hungry players could go and prove themselves. Now it's filled with older ex-pros dropping down the level so they can play a more casual style of football whilst collecting a paycheck. They take the minutes, the exposure, and the chances that used to go to players just like you, the ones trying to climb up, not wind down. And to sweeten the deal, college soccer is the total opposite. It is growing at an insane pace, and with the World Cup round the corner, we're on the brink of a big boom. When I came to the US 7 years ago, schools invested way less into players and facilities. Now, some schools are closing down simply because they can't compete with other schools who are investing millions of dollars into their soccer programs. And this gap continues to widen. And what is going to happen is there is going to be fewer schools with soccer teams, but more players who want to play. In business terms, decreased supply and increased demand. College soccer is becoming more exclusive and more competitive than ever before. That's why MLS teams are now using college programs like a talent pipeline. Instead of spending money developing players themselves, professional teams can now pick up college players who have already proven themselves at any point during their 4 years in college. But college soccer isn't just for players looking to go pro, because it is also for players who want to use their talent to reduce the cost of education, players who dream of living in the US, traveling and experiencing new cultures, players who value security, knowing that even if they don't go pro, they can still graduate with a degree. Players who want both soccer and education, so they don't have to choose between the two. And it is for players chasing the pro dream, who want 4 more years to develop and be seen, while keeping their options open and building a life beyond football. If you are any of these people, the next thing for you to consider is how to make that happen. But the truth is, college soccer isn't as simple as I've explained, because I've only given you a bird's eye view. You see, there are 1,298 soccer programs across all 50 states. Each state, each city, each town is different from the others. And unless you've been here for 7 years and traveled to over 32 states like I have, it is very difficult to grasp what your experience is going to be like at each school. But let's say you somehow do know the US like the back of your hand. You still need to understand the recruitment process. And I'll be completely honest with you, every school has the coach's email listed on the website. And you can email these coaches for absolutely free, and that is what most American players do. Now, there are 2.5 million kids who play and will look to play college soccer when they turn 18. They email schools directly and get invited to ID camps, which they pay for, so the coach can see them play in person. Now imagine how many emails a coach receives on a weekly basis. And that is why most players never end up playing college soccer. And if you're an international player, you face all of those challenges plus more. You're competing with US talent in those flooded inboxes, and you have to pay for flights if you want the coaches to see you play. And unless you're as good as Lamine Yamal, let's be honest, the coach isn't gonna fly and come see you. If you're thinking that college soccer sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but you're not confident that you can navigate this yourself, I am going to shamelessly pitch our services to you. If you hate pitches or you think you can do this yourself, please skip to the timestamp on the screen. We provide a service that saves coaches from scrolling through thousands of emails, watching video and deciding who they want to see play. We essentially do their job for them. We use something called the RFT method, which stands for Recruitment Fast Track. It is a backdoor method that our clients use to get offers from their dream schools. First, you send us your clips and your current coach's phone number. We will call your coach and evaluate your clips to evaluate you as a player. We do this so that when we send your profile to a coach a little later, we can provide them with all the information they need to decide if you're a player of interest or not. Then we provide you with a professional highlight reel and a list of schools where coaches are looking for a player like you. You simply review the list of schools, tell us which you like and which you don't like. Once we narrow it down to about 30 to 50 schools, this is where it starts to get a little bit interesting. Me and my team will text a coach, usually via WhatsApp, and send over your profile. Out of them 50 schools, usually around 15 of them coaches will be interested and want to hop on a call. Now, before your call with a coach, we make sure you are fully prepared to make a great first impression, because that coach is having the same call with multiple players in your position. Our clients have a huge advantage because they have us and we give them the playbook, which is why them 15 calls usually leads to about 5 or so offers. After the call, you'll apply to the school, and once you are accepted, they will send over your financial package, including scholarship. And just like that, you have your first scholarship offer from a school that you picked out. Then we collect as many offers as possible, hop on a Zoom call, and we will guide you to making the best decision for your future. Things like whether you're expected to be a JV or a varsity player, because your experience on each of these teams is going to be vastly different. Whether there's more scholarship on the table up for grabs so we can reduce your out-of-pocket costs. And whether we expect you to get a significant amount of game time in your freshman year. We have the inside scoop on all of this because we speak to these coaches every single day. At this point in the process, most people think that it is all done and dusted, but truthfully, this is where it only begins. Because then you need to get a visa if you're an international, prepare for your move, then you're going to want guidance through your first year, and then if you want to transfer, you're going to want help making sure all the classes you took at your first school transfer with you to your second school. And we provide support throughout all of this until you graduate. Remember when I mentioned that being away from home was the worst part? Having a strong support system at least makes it manageable. And that is why we do what we do. Because we provide a service I wish I had when I was in your shoes. I spent the first 6 months in the US contemplating whether I should stay or go back to England. And with a support system through that, I would have struggled a lot less, that's for sure. And that is the RFT method. All done without sending a single email or paying for a single ID camp. You focus on school and soccer, and we do the heavy lifting for you. Now, if any of that interests you at all, you can apply for a free consultation through our website, www.studentathlete.ai. Don't let the fancy name intimidate you, because it's pretty simple. You become a student athlete and we use AI to make things happen a little bit faster than anyone else can. Hence the name Recruitment Fast Track Method. We're only a few texts away from connecting you with your dream school. And if you're wondering which schools we can contact, I'll show you exactly that. That's why we say our players don't play by the same rules. And it might not be fair, but then again, life isn't. In this world, it is not what you know, it is who you know. Think about it like this. If you have 2 people that are applying for the same job, one person applies through LinkedIn, where everybody's applying via that way, and the other person knows somebody at the company. Who is going to have an increased chance of getting the job? I'll let you answer that one. Right now, you have the chance to know us. Let me hit you with some uncomfortable truths that should light a fire in your stomach and get you going. The window of opportunity is closing, and it is closing fast. Every day that goes by, roster spots are filling up and scholarship is being given out. In other words, every single day you wait to make that decision on whether to go all in or not, you'll have fewer opportunities and end up paying way more for school. American players are finding it hard to transition to college soccer in their own country because international players are coming over at the age of 20, 21 with years of experience. The transfer portal has transformed college soccer into a ruthless marketplace. Now coaches are choosing proven college players over taking a chance on a 17-year-old freshman. Your opportunity is shrinking before your very eyes. So listen to me carefully. College soccer recruitment will never be easier than it is right now, at this very moment. This might be your only opportunity. And I am not saying this to frighten you. I'm saying it because I've seen too many talented players wait until it is too late, until their dreams slip through their fingers forever. Do not be one of them. The time isn't soon. The time is now.